Welcome back, dear viewers, and you are still watching the Breakfast Show. And in this segment of our program, we will talk about the African Development Bank Group's annual meetings, which is currently taking place in the Red Sea Resort of Sharm el-Sheikh with the participation of President Fattah el-Sisi. And to shed more light on the importance of these meetings, we are joined over the phone by Dr. Hanadi Ragai, Professor of Administration. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning to you, dear.
So, Dr. Hanadi, can you tell us more about the significance of holding these annual meetings of the African Development Bank groups in Egypt, and to what extent it serves the African continent?
Okay, the themes of the 2023 the annual meeting is mobilizing a private sector finance for clean and the green growth in Africa. So as the framework for the bank group governance is sharing the experience in catalyzing the private financing domestically and internationally, by harming the natural capital to close the clean finance gap and to foster the transitions to green growth in Africa. I think, in particular, this topic is an opportunity for governors to discuss the African challenges and to interact between each other in Africa, and to find the gap regarding to find the policies and the governance difficulties that they are facing during this crisis that we are facing these days.
So, Dr. Hanadi, the theme of this event is mobilizing private sector financing for climate and green growth in Africa. How do you read this theme?
Okay, we can read it as I mentioned, that this annual meeting consists of organizational meetings of the governance. The attendees in particular will include, of course, a lot of investments, and will include a lot of shareholders to find, the 3,000 participants, to find opportunities, especially here in Egypt, because the president of Abdel Fattah el-Sisi is opening all the facilities for these investments in Egypt, especially after the amazing infrastructure that is applicable now in Egypt. So if we have a proper contribution between these all the participants, there are almost 3,000 participants, and especially after the word of the governance, Mr. Hassan Abdullah, the governance of the Central Bank of Egypt, and the chairman of the board of governance of the African Development Bank Group, he said this in his opening words, by the way, that it will be a proper opportunity to start, the green business in Egypt. This is my point of view of this seminar or this conference.
So also, to what extent the meetings provide an excellent opportunity for the participating countries to exchange experiences and propose innovative financing solutions that enhance African development efforts, particularly in the post-COVID-19 era and in light of the ramifications of the Russian-Ukrainian crisis?
Okay, I think this conference is stressed on that all these financial parties, that they are now discussing all the problems, especially, as you mentioned, the COVID-19 pandemic. We have to, actually we should, the African countries start supporting each other with the low-cost financing investment. This is I think this is also Mr. Hassan Abdullah mentioned it, and he stressed yesterday. I think we are going for the SMEs era will be helping the financial inclusion as our central banking is always, marketing about the financial inclusion, the YES project, the startup business. If we are trying to help each other in this area by financing the countries, in this low-cost investment, I think this will be very good, and it will be a good start, by the way. After this COVID-19, most of the countries are facing, a horrible time in the financial inflation, especially also in Egypt. So we have to start up with a startup project. This is my point of view, and it will be very effective to our economy, by the way.
So also President Fattah al-Sisi yesterday in his inaugural speech said that such meetings also offer a chance to exchange expertise to face climate change repercussions, adding that drought has caused $70 billion of losses in Africa. So how can such meetings help in facing climate change?
Okay, we're supposed to put, once we are putting our framework for these projects by, facing the climate, and as mentioned, Mr. Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, we're supposed to have a rules to protect our claims and go into the, green areas by many tools. First of all, we are now always, especially here in Egypt, we are pushing to the digitalization, which will help our, climate will be very healthy. And we can go to the green projects, to the green economy, by the way. That's why this will help to start our project with the African countries, with the contributions with other, the African countries, to start with the technological financial, and to the sustainability development by using, the digitalization ideas or digitalization projects. This will help. E-commerce will help them. E-marketing, by the way, this era. If we little bit focus it on it, I think we will booming in a very, very short time by having a big project with an African country.
So, Doctor, in your opinion, what are the challenges that still face the African nations and need the cooperation between leaders?
I think we need more the challenges. We are a little bit different cultures, between Egypt and the other African countries. I think we need more meetings and conferences to find, meeting points with all the businessmen. Number three, also, we are not still talking the same language, I think, between the consumer in Egypt, or the end consumer, or the end customer, can we mention it, with the African countries. Still, there is a gap in our cultures between these countries. I think also the tourism areas in Egypt, why we don't start opening such a journeys or just a trip in South Africa, as all the tourism companies make it in different countries like Europe, USA. This will be very, very helpful if we start, the Egyptian population start understanding this era. Also, the startup, the handicrafts in Egypt, it can be exported to these countries, and as well we can import their products. We need to little bit understand each other. I think the culture is not met yet there. So that's why the African society, the African culture, it's not very famous for the Egyptian people. That's why we always consider that the best is Europe, the best is USA. Okay, they are. I didn't mean this in a bad, but
Yes.
I think we need to understand the Africans era, because they are full of resources, either natural resources, financial resources, and as well, they are very nice people if we are talking from the side of communication.
Yes, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Hanadi Ragai, Professor of Administration. Thank you for being with us. The viewers, a short break, and we'll be back, so stay tuned.